Why did I not perfect these trousers sooner after my horrible hungry bum fiasco a few months back? I don't know. I fell out with them, but now I love them again. Oh boy, I have had the busiest sewing week, from perfecting the pearl pants, breaking the back of my Tree of Life embroidery, making a start on my sewing memory quilt, cracking on with my knitting project, and if that isn't enough, I've also tackled the dreaded sewing shack as well. Hi there, I'm Christine the Gemini Stitcher, and welcome to my little sewing space. There's been a flurry of new subscribers last week, so if you're new to my channel, welcome to the Crazy Sewing Gang. I'm so glad that you've found me, and I hope that I can inspire your sewing in 2026. As I've already said, I've got quite a bit of sewing to show you this week. I had a fairly quiet week last week, so I cracked on with my sewing plans. And the first thing I'm going to show you is where I'm up to with my embroidery Tree of Life. Here it is in all its glory. I'm really pleased with how it's turned out. Sewn all the blocks together. The only thing that I've decided I want to do at the bottom, there's one row of green with the grass, and because there's 2 rows above the top of the branches at the top, I want to put another row of green at the bottom to balance it. Just the way I roll, everything has to balance out. And then that is spring done. Well, I've still got to put the borders round, bind it and back it and give it a really good press, and then that one has been done in January, which is brilliant, so that I can get on to the summer one in February. The Tree of Life is from Sweet Pea Designs. I do it on my embroidery arm of my Faff Creative Icon machine, and the reason I've got so much done this week is because, or last week, is because I also set up my little Faff machine on my cutting table and did my normal sewing on there while the Tree of Life blocks were embroidering on the big Faff. Not an easy thing for me to do, to concentrate on more than one thing, but it's meant that I've soldiered on and I've broken the back of the first Tree of Life without feeling like I'm sitting there just watching the embroidery machine do its thing. The other embroidery project or quilt project that I've broken the back of is my memory sewing quilt blocks. If you watched my Zero Wasting 26 vlog, this was one of the ideas that I had, and if you've not watched it, I will pop the link below and put it as a link at the end of here, so hopefully if you keep watching it'll be the next vlog that comes up, I think. But yes, memory quilt. I'm using the Sparkle quilt from Sweet Pea Designs, and there's 4 sections to each block. So this section here is being done in cream flannel for all of them, and then this section here is going to be the fabrics that I'm using in 2026. So we've got that fabric that has been on my Roselyn blouse that I've made this month, and I've done all 4 of those. They just need sewing together. This one is the loungewear set that I made. So I used the rowy top from Style Art Patterns with the lovely comfy Olo pants from Named Clothing. Absolutely love that outfit. And I've done all 4 of those as well. So they just need sewing together. And then I've made a start on the other fabric that was in the Rosalind blouse. And I've made 2 of those. So I've just got 2 more of those to make. And then I've got 2 more blocks. So 10 more sections to do, because I've got the fabric from my pearl pants and the fabric from the Fjord cardigan, which I'm going to make next week. I've started my knitting. I've nearly finished the back. Really pleased with how it's coming together. Don't know if you're going to see the pattern, or maybe you can see it a little bit there. So it's got cable down the middle and then like a chevron design on either side. Really interesting pattern, really enjoying doing it. I have struggled with the patterns, the chevron pattern in the side. Didn't feel like the instructions made sense to me. Maybe it's my head how it works. So I had to practice on some spare yarn with that, figured out what the pattern was, and then I'm just winging this and doing it my way, because the way they were telling me to do it, it just wasn't working out. Don't know why, but we're there. So that's the back. I'm hoping to get that finished this week, and then I can start on one of the fronts. So yeah, made some decent progress with the cardigan. The best thing that I've made this week are the pearl pants from Swim Style Patterns. If you've been following me for a while, you know that I had a battle with these last time because they had a hungry bum, and I ended up having to put a waistband on or be very uncomfortable. This time, I had another little problem. Crotch length, perfect. Now I cut these out and took them to Steph's. We had a sewing day last Wednesday, which was lovely. And I thought, I'll do the pearl pants. They'll come together easy. Now I know what I'm doing. And they did come together easy. I got to the point where I was going to put the facing on the front. So before I did that, I thought, let's give them a little try on and check that the waist fits. The waist was fine. When it got to where my hips are, as Steph pointed out, I was getting drag lines. It was like pulling, and I thought, is it because there's not enough room? You know, I've been sat on my bum a lot over Christmas. Have I got some extra chunk in the trunk? Possibly. So I was a bit disheartened. But I decided I would undo the side seams, do as narrow a seam as I possibly could on the side seams, so they are literally sewn that side of the overlocking. So I did that with both sides, tried them on again, and voila, they are a perfect fit. So really pleased with them. Invisible zip works great, but the only issue I have with the pearls is because the zip is right on the back. It must be women of a certain age, I hate to say it. I struggle with back zips and I struggle with side zips now. Don't know why. Maybe it's because they're usually invisible zips, which aren't as easy as a standard zip to zip up. But yeah, I love the look of them. I love the flat front and the little pleats on the front. And I love the fact that there's no waistband, it's just a facing on the inside. I have bound my facing and I've used some old bias binding that I got given by the lovely Julie from Julie Sews Her Own Clothes. Came to the March retreat last year and she brought everybody some bias binding that is a bit out of date now, and it says Sewing Retreat 2025, but I love the colour of pink, and it'll remind me of Julie every time I wear these trousers. So absolutely chuffed to bits with those. As I said last week, I'm not going to be doing any trying on. I'm going to save that up until I've made the complete mini capsules. So I've just got the Fjord cardigan to make this week, and then I'll do a whole vlog how I feel about the garment, take it out in the wild if the weather allows, and yeah, have a chat about my first mini capsule of 2026. The last thing that I got done this week is something that I had been desperate to sort out, getting on my nerves. You know when something's nagging at the back of your brain? Well, the sewing shack was nagging at the back of my brain. If you don't know what I'm talking about, when I first started this channel, I used to sew outside in a little wooden hut. Well, with windows, obviously, but we used to call it the Swiss chalet. I changed it to the sewing shack. And it was fine out there in the summer, apart from the spiders. But I had to come back inside every winter. So I've moved inside now. I have a corner of our garden room that is my sewing space. Means I have to keep it a lot tidier, but it works a lot better for me. But the shack became a dumping ground. For me, not the hubster, all my stuff, anything that I wasn't using every day for sewing, got shoved back in there. Out of sight, out of mind. And you'll see from the image that's coming up what mess it was. There was everything in there. I don't even want to start explaining. It was all stuff in the main that I didn't use. I did find some gems of fabric that I want to keep, and there is a stack of fabric that is going to go on my D-stash as well. I'm working through it, pricing it up, and hopefully when my vlog goes out on Thursday, because Thursday's vlog is going to be all about the shameful sewing shack, and I'm hoping that by then I will have got all the fabrics that I'm de-stashing onto my Instagram de-stash page. So if you don't follow Gemini Stitches de-stash, give it a follow, and then you'll be able to see and maybe do a cheeky purchase at a bargain price of some of the fabric that I've decided I'm going to let go. Really hard, but I'm going to let it go. What are my sewing plans for this week? Well, I've got 4 things that I want to do this week. I've got a quiet week. I'm meeting Steph for lunch tomorrow, but apart from that, I've got a clear week. So it's going to be a serious sewing week this week. And as I said, 4 things that I want to break the back of. The first one is to get the Fjord cardigan done, and then my mini capsule is finished and I can do a vlog and show you how that's working out in the wild and in my wardrobe. So the Fjord's going to get finished this week. The second thing that I want to get done this week is to tackle the sewing project bag. And now that I've tidied up the sewing shack, I found something that I can use for it. Just let me grab it. Some of you will know that last year, well, I think it was tail end of 2024 that I started it. I started going to a quilting class, and the idea was that we made a sample quilt. I'm ashamed to say that I got a bit bored with the quilting. I got more into my embroidery, so I didn't finish the sample quilt. I fell out of love with it. I didn't think it was me. So all the blocks have been left, because I think there were about 8 or 9 blocks in total. I've not pulled them all out yet to check. And they're just languishing in a bag, doing nothing. And a lot of hard work went into those blocks. I did learn a lot from the quilt class, so it was good to do the sample blocks, but I didn't like the idea of the sampler quilt. Don't know why, just not me. So I've decided I'm going to use the sampler blocks to make project bags with. Now I'm going to use as a guide, the Country Cow Designs project bag, and I will pop the link to it below. But I think my size might be slightly different because I'm dictated by the blocks. So here's one of the blocks. Oh, how amazing is that? Absolutely love the blocks, just don't want them as a sampler quilt. So I'm thinking for the back and the inside of the back, I can use two of my sampler blocks that kind of go together. So I've got this one and I've got this one that's got a cute owl in. They've all been done in Tula Pink fabrics, so really, really nice. So those two kind of go together, do we think? And I thought that one could go on the back and then that one can go on the inside because it has a clear front to it, clear PVC front to it, and then you'll see that on the inside. Now there is a divider, I think, on the inside, so this might have to be the front of the divider so that you actually see it. But when I've got everything in it, you're not going to see this anyway, are you? Is it wasting a fancy block on the inside? Do I just use plain fabrics on the inside and then use these just on the outside and make project bags? I can have loads. So how many do I actually need? I need one for my current sewing project, one for my current quilting project, but I tend to have two quilting projects on the embroidery quilting projects on the go at the same time because I get a bit bored. They are quite long-winded, so I need two for that, so that's three. I need another one for my socials project, which is always different to my everyday sewing project, so that's at least four that I need. So I'm going to make myself four of them. Not all in a week. Well, maybe I will. We'll see. I might get into the swing of things. But I'm going to use these blocks definitely for the back panel and possibly for one of the inside panels. I'm going to have to look how it's constructed. Or maybe I just use them on the back. Let me know, what would you do? Would you just use these as the back panel? Do you think they're going to work? Oh, love that one. How fab would they look? And it means I'm using these sampler quilt blocks up for something instead of them languishing in a bag in the bottom of a Kallax unit. Ashamed to say that's where they've been, and that's where they'll stay. I did think I might make them as cushions, but again, they don't go with my rooms. They're too bright colours. I know they say add a pop of colour to a room. Maybe I will make some cushions for the garden room with some of them, but I'm definitely making some project bags out of these blocks and rescuing them. I am in love with my green loungewear set that I made. Where it loads feels super comfy, it gets lots of nice compliments. I wore it when went to get, I've been out in the wild in it, which is brave for me to wear loungewear outside, but I thought no, the idea is that I can wear it in the house and then just go out and feel put together. So I did, only to go and have my nails done, but you know, still being brave. And Emma, my nail lady, absolutely loved it to bits. So, and she's quite discerning with her clothing. If I turn up in something that she does not like, she will tell me. So I felt really pleased with that. I loved it, felt comfortable on, and other people admired it. So I'm going to make another loungewear set, exactly the same, rowy top, Olo pants, and I've got, shopping my stash, I've got this rib knit fabric that I got from the bins at Abercarn's. It's a cotton rib knit, really quite stiff and heavy. So I'm going to use that for the Olo pants. And then the top, I also got some plain, it's a lighter weight rib knit again in cream. I know, cream. But I do think they go together really well. And a cream top, I could wear the cream top with the green pants, couldn't I? And I could wear the green top with the mustard pants, do a bit of mixy matchy. So I'm going for it and making a cream top for my loungewear set. So it's going to be the rowy top, Olo pants, bish bash bosh, get them done in an afternoon. Perfect sewing project. So that's definitely getting done this week. And the last thing that I'm going to do this week is decide what I want to use this gorgeous, do we call it raspberry pink, cord fabric for. Now I got this from Little Legs Fabrics when we went in November. Absolutely loved it to bits. I've changed my mind that many times over what I want to use it for. It's been a set of dungarees, it's been a shacket, it's been a pinafore dress. So yeah, and now, because I've been looking at skirts, I want to make one of my skirt patterns in it. And I want to make the Mimoy skirt, can't remember the name of it, I'll put it below, which is fitted at the back, and then it's got a slit at the front with a pleat, which I think will be nice, round and forgiving around the old tummy area. What do we think? Should I make a skirt? Should I make the dungarees? Or should I make a pona jacket, actually? But I've got a cord pona. Or do I make a denim style jacket in it? Do you know, the options are endless, aren't they? Let me know, what would you make in this gorgeous cord? I'll put a vote, actually, the 4 options, and you can all vote. So it's not going to get done this week, is it? Well, maybe it will. I'll give you till Thursday. There we go, till the next vlog comes out to vote. And then next week you'll see what I've actually made. Whether I've listened to you or not, let's have a see. Then we're nearly at the end of January, aren't we? Where has January gone? I'm not complaining because it's a really difficult month, I think, for a lot of people. I tend to hunker down and enjoy the time that I have for sewing because there's not a lot else to do. But not everybody has that kind of hobby, do they? How do you cope in January? Do you do your sewing? Do you hunker down like me? Do you get joy from sorting your fabric stash out? I got huge joy this week from sorting out the dreaded sewing shack. Just need to get everything on my de-stash channel and then I can get rid. So if you want to see how I got on battling all the mess that was in that shack, then stay around for Thursday and all will be revealed. And I'll also be showing you some of the de-stash fabrics just to whet your appetite. Addicted to the traitors like me? This little section at the end is just for you. If you don't know what I'm talking about and you're not interested, I will see you all on Thursday to battle the shack. But we're talking traitors now, and I've been looking at the outfits that they've been wearing. The person who stands out for me more than anybody else on the traitors is Stephen. I know, for a guy, his sense of style is absolutely amazing. But but I had to have a little giggle at his cord set that he wore this week. I'll pop an image of him up here. It was a little bit too revealing in a certain area of the body for me at certain points, but it looked stunning. Who have you been watching on the Traitors and want to copy their style maybe? Obviously, I always lust after whatever Claudia is wearing. Now, she's a different shape to me, so what she wears isn't necessarily going to suit me. The big baggy jumpers that she puts on would just drown me. I would look ridiculous. I'd look like I had my grandma's cardigan on half the time. But I'm loving the skirts that she's wearing. She's been wearing a lot of kilt style skirts. And I am kind of lusting after a few pleats in my skirt department. It wasn't one of the skirts that I put on my 10 skirts that I have found vlog. Again, I'll pop the link to that below because it's well worth a watch. But yeah, do you think that a 5 foot, size 12 lady can get away with a pleated skirt? Or will it look like there's too much fab? I'm bothered it'll make my waist look big and just shrink me down. But Claudia looks amazing in them, so I'm well jealous of her figure. But hey, we've got to make the most of what we've got. And following on from that, last week I mentioned about Fiona, the 62-year-old lady who wanted to give women of a certain age a voice. Well, that really started a lot of chat, which is great. Some of you, the majority of you, said that you did not feel invisible, and I'm so pleased with that. But there were a few of you who said that being vertically challenged, grey-haired, made you feel, or definitely were, invisible when you were out and about. So, yeah, I was really sad about that. The way that I'm personally tackling it, and definitely never going to be invisible, is by the clothes that I wear. And in 2026, I'm committed to be, as my mother would say, suited and booted whenever I leave the house. So, makeup on, hair done, nice outfit, all put together. Even if I'm just nipping down to the supermarket for a few bits and bobs, it doesn't matter. It lifts your, well, it certainly does for me, lifts yourself, makes yourself feel good, and if you feel good, you'll look good. So maybe that's something that some of you can take on board, maybe not. Make something really nice, wear it, and go out in it. Don't save it for a special occasion, because they never come, do they? So on that, I'm going to leave you. Let me know if you want me to make a jacket, a pinafore, a skirt, maybe a pair of dungarees out of the pink floral cord that I showed you earlier, and I will let you know on Thursday what I'm going to make with it. So take care, have an amazing sewing week, and I will see you all soon. Bye guys.